Hello, everyone. This is Howard Fox, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series, the podcast that celebrates individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Andrea Reay and Dean Burke are our guests today. Andrea is the president and CEO for the Tacoma-Pierce County Chamber of Commerce, and she's responsible for the economic development, small business support, government affairs, and advocacy and regional collaboration in the Tacoma, Washington area and the greater Pierce County area. And Dean is the president and CEO for promoting Visit Tacoma, Pierce County as a destination for conventions, leisure travel, and champion level sporting events. Andrea, Dean, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Fantastic. As I was reading off the introduction, I was thinking I should have just stopped at name and title and let you all describe what you all do. I hope I did it justice for what I provided. And if I missed something, well, that's what we're going to talk about. And Andrea, Dean, thank you again for taking the time. I find it fascinating when I was introduced to Mara, another assistant within the officer within the Tacoma-Pierce County Chamber. Why don't you interview not only our CEO and president, but also the Visit Tacoma-Pierce County? I thought, well, that's a great idea. And it made me realize how interconnected your roles and responsibilities are. And I really love this conversation we're going to have today. So, Andrea, first off, what's it like to be the president and CEO of the Tacoma-Pierce County Chamber?
Well, lucky for me, I have a great team. Not doing this alone. And I really do appreciate Maura. She's our vice president of marketing and communications. And she recognized how important to have this conversation with Dean. Dean is a phenomenal partner. All the work that we do in and for and around our community to ensure that the South Sound is the best place to live, work, and play is because we do have great team members and we have great partners like Dean. So while it might be a big job, it's a big job that each one of us play our role in. And I'm just really grateful to have amazing partners like Dean. And like the other team members that I have here at the Chamber and our fantastic board and members to help support to get the work done. And so it's a big job, but it's a big job that I share with lots and lots of people.
I love it. Now, my familiarity with chambers is that you have the team. And how large is the team, by the way?
We have about 16 employees, and so some of those flex a little bit. Like we have a Princeton fellow that's with us this summer. We have some part-time employees, but we have a good core group of team members that are helping support the work of 1,500 members of the Chamber of Commerce that we're supporting.
That's a good sized chamber.
It's a good sized chamber, and over 80% of those are small businesses. So definitely a lot of locally owned and operated small businesses here that really make up the backbone of our community and our local economy.
Okay. Now, I haven't chatted with a chamber that also hadn't relied on volunteers, and I imagine you have a lot of those that help make your events and your programming happen.
100%. Like I said, we can't do it alone. We actually had a retirement party for one of our chamber ambassadors today who had 20 years of service as a volunteer with our organization. So yes, 100%. Amazing volunteers, amazing staff. Our board is also all volunteer. So we have over 30 active members who also serve in that leadership role. So yeah, no shortage of amazing volunteers helping to make all the work happen.
I love it. Well, thank you for providing that brief overview. We're going to dive back in just a minute, but Dean, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And again, Visit Tacoma-Pierce County, and you've got the outdoor spaces, you've got the conventions and the business events, you've got these world-class sporting events. You've got a pretty big job as well.
Yeah, keeps me busy. We've got a lot. Like we enjoy it.
I love it. Now, I know you mentioned in the show notes you have I think it was you said a team of 9?
We've got a full-time in-house team of 9 and a few external contractors at varying degrees. But yeah,
Okay.
we're a tidy, modest-sized squad, and we get a lot done.
Tiny but mighty. I love it. And now, how long have you been a part of the Convention and Visitor Bureau? Is this a like your first gig in this type of area, or have you kind of worked your way through various visitor bureaus, convention visitor bureaus?
It's kind of a two-step question. I've been with this organization for 7 years. Prior to that, I was with our sports commission. I came when I came over to the CVB side, the DMO side, I brought the sports commission with me, and we legally merged the organizations. So the combination of time between the two, I guess, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years in, something like that. I don't track it
Okay.
too closely, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to dive, like I had shared with Andrea, back into a little more of the workings of the organization. Andrea, the role of the chamber, and I have found that many businesses, many residents of a community, no matter what size, they may have heard of the Chamber of Commerce. Many of them don't really understand what the chamber does. So, would you enlighten our listeners, and especially in your community, a very large community, what are the responsibilities of the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, I like to say if you've seen one chamber, you've seen one chamber because each chamber should be responsible to whatever those unique challenges and opportunities are for that community. For us here in Pierce County, we support, as I mentioned, a lot of small businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs. We also are really fortunate to have Joint Base Lewis McChord here in Pierce County as well. That's 50 billion of economic impact and 50,000 staff that are on base and responsible for base operations. We also have the Port of Tacoma.
Mhm.
Washington State is the most trade-driven state, and so we are absolutely a little bit more focused on trade. We're focused on supporting our military community, small business, but in general, right, it's economic development. It is business attraction, business retention, that technical assistance for small businesses, being able to support entrepreneurs realizing their dream. Our business is their business, and our purpose is their passion. That's what we do all day, every day. But again, those are the specific, unique things to our business and in service to our community. So first and foremost, our organization is a nonprofit service organization, and so we are responding to what the unique service opportunities are within our community, and doing all we can to partner again with partners like Dean, and others throughout the county, our local government officials, state government, federal government, to do all we can to ensure that our economic ecosystem is equitable, it is thriving, and we are being consistent with what our North Star is, which is prosperity for all. So I like to say we're changing the world one community at a time, and it's no small task, but we're inching forever and ever closer because of our amazing partners and the collaboration within that work.
Excellent. As your role at the chamber has where it is today, or perhaps has as it has evolved over the years, how has the how are you seeing Tacoma changing and Pierce County changing because of the role of the chamber? What's different today versus, well, 5 years ago was COVID, so everything was different. But say 10 years back, 15 years back, what's been some of the ahas that you've seen within the Tacoma Pierce County region?
I think the aha moments are really that collaboration as it relates to economic development, right?
Hmm.
So economic development, I think for a lot of people seems nebulous, but at the end of the day, it is creating and ensuring that there is opportunity and prosperity for all. So a lot of that is education, workforce development. It's supporting entrepreneurs, and so our aha moment has really been, I would say, just really focusing in on doing more to support entrepreneurs. We know that if you are a small business owner, you're making 19% over what the median income is. We know that these can be generational wealth, transformational opportunities for people within our community. And so that has been really, really positive as we are just really focused on supporting entrepreneurship, doing that through incubator programs, accelerator programs. We have partnered with an economic green strategy with the city of Tacoma. And so really looking towards the future of we have an energy math problem in Washington State. A lot of the drivers of business and industry are requiring more and more energy. We are really, really fortunate in Washington State to have clean, accessible, reliable energy. How do we maintain that? And so I do think that that's part of that work. It's also supporting manufacturing and advanced manufacturing. Manufacturing jobs are some of the lowest barrier, highest earning potential jobs that we have anywhere in the country, wherever you are. And so, how are we ensuring that we're building that skilled workforce to take advantage of what those opportunities are? So, I would say that's a long answer to say it's a lot of
Yeah.
aha moments. It's a lot of little aha moments as we continue to build programs, build initiatives, focus our advocacy efforts on developing those programs and plans that, as you mentioned, are more future focused and
Mhm.
taking into account not what economic development was yesterday, which we say that was smokestack chasing, maybe like what do we got to do to get this factory into town? And it's yes, we are absolutely doing that business traction, but most of our work is focused on it's 80% of the business retention, growing the businesses that we have here. And the work that Dean does ensures that we have a high quality of life,
Mhm.
which that is first and foremost what businesses are looking for when they are looking to relocate or expand is workforce. Talent lives here in Tacoma, and high quality of life. You will not find a better, more beautiful place to live with amazing, wonderful things to do.
Yeah, and I appreciate that answer. And just from I was sharing with Dean before, just as I was finding a picture that I could use for my background, I was thinking, there's a lot going on in this picture. I have water activities. I've got a beautiful mountain that I can go and explore between the water and how I get to that mountain. So, Dean, I'd love to chat more with you now about a lot of the visitor bureaus, the DMOs that I've chatted with, they're really looking to bring people into the community to go to a state park, to go to a luge run, to go camping, to go climb on a waterway. What do you call those things? The dunes. You have a very unique geographic area, and so as a visitor bureau, how are you both attracting the visitor to come in and experience everything that you have to offer as a community in the greater county, but how are you also providing these adventures for the local residents? What role are you is being played there as well?
I think I need to answer your question first with a tiny bit of structure. So that
Okay,
lead audience that we work to attract is one of three pillars for us.
right,
So leisure, sports, and conventions and meetings, and those other two are group business, and that's really where our big traction is. Right, that's a very critical development point for us because those are captive audiences and they're defined, and
right.
those we really put those groups, especially those convention groups, in front of Andrea's team and groups. That's a very important one for us. The leisure sector, as across all DMOs, is the most challenging sector, of course, and we have a challenging market, as you noted, and as you've got pointed out in the picture there. Our blessing and our curse is our geographic diversity. In that photo you've got on your backdrop, that's Mountain City Sea. That's three major attributes in one picture that you normally you can get to two of those in most any market, but not all three. And and the distance from that salt water to the summit of Mount Rainier to the very top there is only 42 miles in a straight line. And that's a lot of diversity right in there, which is great. It's an incredible thing to experience and attract. You and I were talking about that a little bit before the call because it is so dense. There's so much to experience in such a compact amount of space. That mountain is 14,410 feet tall. It's glacial volcano and it's a national park. And so in our footprint in just a few minutes in any direction, you may have we have two-star generals, we have fourth, fifth generation lumberjacks, we have fourth, fifth generation mariners in the same breath, right? You can see a black bear and an orca in the same day. There's a lot. And so it's getting that out in front of our audiences. It's a lot because you don't just, we like to joke, it's a heck of a lot easier to market a place like Kansas or Dallas. You can like label it in a word or two, but you can't do that here. And we have a very diverse interest here that people want to come and experience, from everything from art interest and automotive interest to the port, you name it, the outdoor, and of course the outdoor platform is what sets it, right? That density, and that density and that diversity reflects in the people, reflects in the composition of the society, the towns themselves, and the quality of life that plays out with it. So it's very complex, but we love it.
And I appreciate that complexity. And I'm curious, the touch on sports in just a second, but the business, the conferences, the conventions, is there a sweet spot in terms of size or types of conventions you're looking to bring in? Or, the reason I ask that is because I'm a member of the Outdoor Writers Association of America. So these are outdoor journalists. They're hunting, fishing, guiding, in the dark sky photography in the outdoor space. And then I've also been to conferences, tech conferences, and I know you're very much in a tech hub, but is there a sweet spot in terms of the types of conferences you're attracting? Because you could have a lot of different niches and a lot of different interests to this area. So how do you decide where you're going to spend your marketing dollars and who you want to bring in to attend a conference and then take advantage of everything that Tacoma and Pierce County and the region has to offer?
Yeah. The sweet spot's changing. It's evolving since the pandemic. The way conventions have played out has evolved and morphed. And to be blunt, we'll take anybody who's got a check to write for the facility. So we'll book anything. We are, of course, looking for the bigger, longer stays, higher impact events, multiple days, things like that. But our facility, our convention center specifically, I mean, we have everything from gaming, like role playing games, like Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons, to there's 11,000 USA Gymnastics certified events in the country, and we have the 9th biggest in the nation there. So we bring in 10,000 girls from about 38 states for gymnastics, and then we have green energy conferences with electric buses and snowplows and boats that come into the port, and we'll host a convention that sprawls from the convention center into the port. So all kinds of different things and different audiences. It's fantastic. I mean, I walk through that exhibition hall every day, and we laugh, and we were like, if these walls could talk, the things that will go from one day to the next, the types of audiences, the types of genres, it's incredible. And yeah, so again, it just reflects the diversity of the area and the interest. We get a lot.
I love it. And I can imagine as your events are being planned and developed, executed, and you've got the business as well as the sporting, Andrea's constituency, the small businesses are right there because there's a hotel to put your head in at night. There's a restaurant, there's an excursion you can go on. And those, Andrea, those are your potential members of your chamber.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think really appreciate Dean's partnership when we have hosted conferences with international businesses looking to relocate here. When we have hosted state conferences for our state chamber association. I mean, right, like there's, as Dean mentioned, no shortage of opportunities and ways that we can showcase the amazing diversity of opportunity here at home, and it's a great partnership.
Okay. How, just to go down maybe another level, I would imagine Dean comes to you or you go to Dean for, depending on what the need is, but how do you decide how you're going to partner with each other to help support what each other has planned? Do you get together at a local coffee shop? I know you're close to Seattle. There's probably some good coffee shops in Tacoma, I would imagine. At least I would hope. But how do you come together and begin to strategize? This is what we have planned, and here's where we could use support from each other. Andrew, why
I
don't
mean,
you?
Usually waking
Okay.
up at 3 o'clock in the morning in a cold sweat or something's on fire. And we're like, oh, no, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, but we just both have to keep each other in mind all the time, right? And be conscious of the opportunity. I may have something coming into town, and it may not be at the convention center, maybe somewhere else. We're countywide. We program and serve everything. And we may have an opportunity that I say, hey, Andrew, you should take a look at this. I think there's some people in this room that you would want to talk to that would be interested, that might have an interest in this. And the reverse is also true. Andrea will come to me and say, hey, we have an opportunity in town. Can we partner on this? Can we put something together? And we just take it case by case. I think it's a narrative that is constantly improving for us. Andrea has brought a breath of fresh air and a commitment to these relationships like we have with her when she arrived here. And so she got here and then we all pandemic together and we'll quit talking about that. But after that, on this climb, we're still every day for us is better than the day before. Right. So we just keep trying to put those feet forward. We don't have it perfect. We don't have some watertight template in place, but I think we're getting there. I think we're constantly striving for that excellence and that collaboration. And way back at the beginning of the call here, when she was gushing on our team and everything and her networks, I wanted to amplify that it's what she was also saying. There wasn't just the strength of just her team that she pays, and it's not just the strength of my team that I pay, but it's the strengths of our teams together, right? And I think that in today's climate right now, we are seeing collaborations across economic development agencies and in our office and stuff that is deeper than it's probably ever been. I mean, I don't know that all these agencies have ever worked as well together as they do right now. And it's not because of some policy driven mandate. It's like we just genuinely do. We just lean into each other and link up really tightly. And that just keeps getting better. So we're constantly leaning on each other, looking to each other to grow this.
Okay. Now, I'm curious, is there a plan for both of your organizations, say out 5 years, 10 years from now? Is you just said you have come together, you're developing that relationship every day is getting better and better. But is there this desire to a milestone you want to achieve sometime out in the future? That's our next big goal. And Andrea, perhaps you could start with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of big, hairy, audacious goals, and
Those
we're
are good.
able we're able to kind of focus in on those and chip away at them, as Dean mentioned, because we have that relationship that's built on trust. And we can talk about wild and crazy ideas and think about what works. As Dean mentioned, our community is not kind of unique, and some of the challenges that we have coming back from COVID, some of the return to office, some of how are we activating our public spaces in the best ways possible, because the nature of work is different.
Mhm.
Our communities across the county are different today than they were 5 years ago because of hybrid remote work environments and a number of other concerns. Economic uncertainty has never been higher. And so all of those conversations about what is the nature of gathering and belonging, right?
Mhm.
What is that nature of and again, how important it is for us to come together, not just as a community, but then also be welcoming as an international community, to
Mhm.
ensure that people feel welcomed and supported here. But we do have a couple big things on the horizon. We have World Cup, right, coming in
Oh yeah.
2026. That's a big project that we're sorting through. It's the what does it like to come back from COVID? That, like I said, the revitalization of some of our public spaces and ensuring that our buildings and our opportunities are activated to the highest best use. And so continuing to lean in on some of those things that are huge, big goals, and that's how we get there as we get there together.
Excellent. Excellent. Dean, what's your perspective on that question? Is some of the big audacious goals that Andrea had alluded to?
I mean, the devil's always in the details, and everything is case by case. So
Okay.
I couldn't stamp this with what does success look like for us in 5 or 10 years. I know that we are all very nimble and leaning into everything. And sometimes you set the table for success, and then success falls out of the sky. So sometimes you're hunting for it, and sometimes it surprises you, but we're ready, right? We're just constantly poised and in position for that. So yeah, I think we keep on the path we're on, and we will continue to grow and get better.
Okay. So since this is the outdoor adventure series, and I speak to a lot of the outdoor leisure and athletic events, and I love a good World Cup. I mean, I attended one when I lived in Chicago many years ago. But what are the opportunities, and I'm sure they're evolving just given the nature of our society here in the U.S. You've got the water, the land, the national parks, the state parks. How are those venues as potential, hey, I'm at a business conference, but I want to get away. I'm this close to Mount Rainier in the national park. I got to go visit it. But what are some of the opportunities that the folks that are coming in to visit and they want to go explore? How are you helping to solve that opportunity or experience for the visitor coming into the city? Dean, why don't you speak to those types of experiences that are available?
Yeah, so there's a market segment that we call bleisure. It means
Mhm.
business and leisure, right? So a lot of people, especially in a market like this, will come in for business and then tack a day or 2 or 3 on to stay and experience things because they want to see the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, we serve that all the time, and we get a lot of that. So, and we can point people a lot of different directions from 5 minutes away to 40 miles away, and even just still be in our county and have some big experiences. So, and then the other side of that as well is we do serve some big outdoor adventure type platforms in the events themselves, and that reverse engineers itself. So people are coming in for an outdoor event and a sport event, and then they're staying after that to do something to recover, see some museums and have some food or see a show or something like that.
Okay. Andrea, the businesses that are supporting the outdoor leisure travel, that type of demographic, and I love it because when I travel for a conference, I always want to tack on a day before or day after to explore. How are the local businesses gearing back up in the past 5 years, or are they up to the challenge of being able to go and provide those excursions? We have a new guest on the show. I love it. All
Oh, the
right.
puppy, so good.
What is this guest name?
Sigrid.
Secret. All right. Love it.
So good. I mean, I would say yes, right? So capacity is back up, right? And our businesses are ready to welcome kind of those surges, right? And so you, as you mentioned, Howard, in the pandemic times, there were kind of the leaning of operations because we had mandates for you can only be open these hours and you can only do these things this way. But we have had time and our businesses have adjusted and figured out how to increase and reach capacity. I think oftentimes when we are challenged, that is where some innovation can occur. And so businesses have learned to be effective, to be efficient, to be responsive to what the needs of our customers and consumers are. So the short answer is yes, our businesses are ready to welcome everyone anytime, all the time, and they will find a great customer experience here in the South Sound.
I love it. And as I had shared with Dean before the call, I'm always looking for my next place to live, and you're making it very attractive because I love a little bit of everything, even good food. And I did mention coffee. Listen, I would love if both of you would be willing to gift our listeners with a brief tour of your websites and just a little high level flavor of what y'all have to offer. If you're up for it, I'm gonna share my screen, and then Andrea will start with the Chamber's website, and then we'll go to visit Tacoma, Pierce County. Is that okay, folks?
That sounds great. I'm glad that
All
you're
right.
doing it. I was prepared to do it myself, so thanks.
I'm just so used to doing this. So I am going to share my screen, and if everything worked, you should be seeing.
Hooray! Yes, our
Look at
website.
that.
I know. So we have a really exciting business expo that's coming up. It's going to be hosted right there on the waterfront
Okay.
at the Seaport Museum. And so again, just a perfect example of business and the great outdoors collecting together for a really amazing positive experience. And so for us, our website, so many people come basically for two reasons. So the two pages that people go to the most are our business directory. So again, if you go to that directory tab, because our community wants to shop and support businesses that are
Hmm.
investing in the community. So businesses
Okay.
that care about community, care about the chamber, want to be active, want to be engaged, want to be part of really creating that sense of belonging and welcoming within the South Sound, belong to
Hmm.
the chamber. And people want to be able to support small businesses and people that and businesses that are giving back to the community. So a lot of folks go to the directory. And then the other place that so many people go to is our events page. And so
All
on
right.
our events page, we have our calendar of events. And so these aren't just chamber events, but members can also put events on our calendar. So if a member is doing something special or is creating another event or opportunity, then there's a calendar of events there as well. And all of our events are open to the public, and we encourage everyone to again check out the business directory to support local businesses, and check out the event page to find out more information about events and activities that we have going on within the South Sound.
I love it. Now, if like me, others are looking for their next place to live and they want to explore the Tacoma and Pierce County, well, how do they go about learning about what's available to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, what we're happy to do is connect them to any information that they might have. So again, I will go back. Are you looking to move to the South Sound? To check out our business directory, and we can find you a good realtor, right? You want
Okay.
more information about schools or neighborhoods, or what is it like to open a business? Contact us directly. We can set up an appointment and help walk through some of those things. Sign up for our newsletter. So if people are interested just in what's happening within the local community, we do a weekly newsletter.
Okay.
Or follow us on social media. We're really active on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram as well. So
Okay. Well, we will most definitely provide the backlinks to the website and to the
perfect.
social sites on our show notes. Now, just before I go over to uh, the visit Tacoma Pierce County website, where is the newsletter? Where do we go to sign up for that?
So I think you can sign up for the newsletter just right at the body. Yeah, it's under currents.
Okay.
Or I'm seeing now I'm trying to drive your bus here, but it's just right there. Right, it's right there at the bottom. Sign up for a newsletter. See, right, keep going.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. There you go.
haha.
Gotcha. All right. It's as I like to say to my clients, it's always in the last place you look. All right. Okay, very good. Well, Andrea, thank you for taking us on a tour, and that expo sounds like a lot of fun. Anything that's by water and there's near a place for good food, especially seafood, I'm a happy guy. So who knows, I may show up.
Well, we've got you
Um,
covered, Howard. Please join
uh,
us.
I love it. All right, now if technology works, I should be seeing the Visit Tacoma Pierce County
Yep. There it
page.
is.
There it is. I love this. It's like, look at that beautiful mountain. Now, can we see that mountain like 365 days a year, or there is it hit and miss? What is it?
Heck no. In fact, we have a slogan, the local community slogan that says, live like the mountain is out. That's just local lexicon because it's how we talk about it when the weather's good. And we say, how is it today? Oh, the mountain was out. So you'll hear people say that on the street. And it just points to a nice, clear, sunny day when you can see the mountain.
Oh,
But this is the Pacific Northwest, and we do get a fair amount of cloud cover at certain times of the year. So it is always a treat, and it's not lost on us how beautiful that thing is when it is out.
I can imagine, and I would not get bored with looking at that mountain as many times as I could in the morning with a good cup of coffee. Let me tell you that. So, Dean, take us on a little tour here. What should we visit?
Yeah, so a pretty standard template here for DMOs. This format that we use is the most widely adopted type format in DMOs, which is great because it helps give people that are looking at DMOs some consistency in how they navigate. So the basic headers across the top will get you there. The biggest things, the biggest landing spots for us are going to be things to do and plan. That should get you itineraries and that our itineraries do perform extremely well, especially in a place this diverse with this much to do.
Mhm.
People are really looking for a lot of help to get at least a base recipe for how they're going to experience the area, and
Okay.
then they'll custom tweak it from there. And a lot of this is really driven by our outreach, by the marketing that we do, the very, very targeted marketing we do to bring people back in. So when we're targeting audiences, we're targeting them on very specific things, and it is taking them to back to pages that are catered to those specific interests. So
Okay.
versus people just wandering in the front door, so to speak, most of this is because we've intercepted those people. The way we all digitally market these days is extremely different and more advanced than it used to be. So
Right.
we're able to place people in their interest much quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very good. So we've got things to do. We've got
Events
your,
tab. Yeah. Lots of events between Memorial Day and Labor Day. We've got almost 300 events. We focus on visitor facing products. So our calendar looks a lot different than Andrea's does. So we're looking at things that are going to attract people from ideally 100 miles or further out. And so we don't put everything on our calendars, but we do put quite a bit. We do kind of draw a certain line at the super hyper local, lower end stuff. But
Mhm.
we try to keep a good mix in there, because as people are here for other reasons as well, they'll look for experiences to fill in the gap. Our customers will do a dozen things off of these pages. They're not just coming in and going to see a single thing and contain it in one experience. They're going to do as many things as they can while they're here.
Okay. Very good.
So,
And we've got places to stay, and again, near and dear to my heart, food. I do
yeah.
have to watch what I eat, so I don't eat everything, but I'm a discerning consumer. I I would imagine seafood is like the regional cuisine of choice, but what is Tacoma and the South Sound? What are you most known for? If I come and visit, what should I not? I would be grossly amiss if I did not partake in some of your cuisine. What should it be?
Well, I mean, certainly seafood, salmon is the food of the Northwest, right? I mean, that goes back into indigenous times as well. But we are on the Pacific Rim, and we're a very cosmopolitan network here, this whole region. So there is a tremendous amount of good international food here, from Ukrainian food to Thai food, Chinese food, you name it. So if salmon is not your fare, you lots of options for a very international experience throughout.
Okay. Now I notice also we've got the meetings, venues, and where are we? And planning
Yep.
resources. You got your sales team. You've got
Yep.
our sports, our world class sports, because you have the World Cup, but then also the more regional sports
Mhm.
groups. Now you do have a newsletter and also a visitor guide that's available.
That's right. Yep. And you can download those, and off you go. So there's our visitor guide.
Excellent. Mountain City Sea. I love it because you use those words at the top of our conversation today.
Yeah.
Nice map. Looks like it's interactive. Very nice. Well, I appreciate you both gifting us with this brief tour of the websites. I'm going to go back to just stop sharing, so it's just the three of us. And something came to mind as you were just sharing about the regionality of the cuisines. The first people communities, the Native Americans, how indigenous cultures, how is their needs, desires, their sense of belonging in this community? What role are they playing in really to not only providing the great experience, but also helping to impart the history of this region? Andrea, what's your
Yeah,
take on that?
no, absolutely. And so I would say that there's a long history that is really challenging and difficult. And we've been doing a lot, especially since I started here a little over 3 years ago, to do everything that we can to center for us. It's the Puyallup tribe. And to help support their work. Amazing, diverse economic development activities that the Puyallup tribes engaged in, from their own international port to an airport to restaurants, candy shops, just amazing work that we are very focused on, helping to elevate and support. So I would say, whereas before, I will just say it was, which is quite frankly between the chamber and the Puyallup tribe, be some dysfunctional and challenging, not supportive. we're doing a lot of work to rectify that and to make those changes, centering the voices and the needs of our Native community, and especially as it relates to economic development and that prosperity work that we're doing together.
Excellent, excellent. Dean, what's your perspective on the Native American indigenous cultures, especially in the outdoor space? Because I imagine they're closest to the water and to the land. There's probably a lot of opportunity for education and experiences.
Yeah, I think we've got 29 tribes, I believe, in the state. Maybe it's 23 or 29. For some reason, I invert those numbers statewide. And it's important to remember that in this region for us, in contrast to the rest of the United States, the indigenous to colonization story is the youngest here of anywhere in the country. It's very, very young here. East Coast and other markets could be 300-400 years old. Here, it's less than 150.
Mm.
And there are stories still being shared within the indigenous families by elders who firsthand experienced atrocities. And that's important to note because it sets the tone for kind of where we are right now in the relationships. And at Andrea's point, it's been difficult, and I think we're all trying to lean into what healing and collaboration looks like as we move forward. There are a lot of opportunities, and a lot of them are not functional. They're not actualizing. So this is growing. It's small steps. This process takes time. It doesn't happen in a quarter. It doesn't happen on a business calendar. That's very important to understand. There's a very sensitive base to what that authentic relationship looks like and what that restoration looks like. Timothy Egan wrote a tremendous book up here called The Good Rain, which I think everybody that lives in the Northwest should have to read before they get a driver's license, because it really helps contextualize what that looks like and the importance of it. And I'm so sensitive and cautious to it that I don't want to short sell it with inadequate words. And the tribe, back to the World Cup discussion or notes we've touched on today, they're the title sponsor for the Seattle games of this, and they're the first indigenous sponsor of a World Cup ever in the history of the game. And that in itself has driven some new connections and collaborations that have been healthy and growing, and we're all learning through it as we come together on it. They provide a tremendous amount to this community, as Andrea pointed out, both in terms of the economic development through kind of normal channels that we know, plus through hospitality and entertainment, their casino, their restaurants. They have their seaplane. It's an international flight now, and more to come. But it does take both sides working together with grace and compassion and patience and continue that process.
Great. No, thank you for sharing that. And it also dawns on me that I don't want to also touch on the idea of access, especially in a very diverse area that you are in, water, land, and some very extreme land conditions. If you're going to go to the national park, people access for folks that perhaps maybe are physically challenged. How has this region been rising to the occasion of providing the access, so at least people have an opportunity to experience the best that your region has to offer? Andrea, if you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it starts a lot with infrastructure and education and awareness, right? And so a big part of what we do at our organization is to help provide those resources and that information so that our businesses can be as accessible to everyone as possible. Some of that is physical access, as you mentioned, making sure that people feel welcomed, people of all abilities all the time, welcomed as employees in businesses, as customers in businesses, and really setting the stage for what that best practice is and helping to support and encourage that education and awareness building. It's also with physical infrastructure, right? And so as we're advocating for infrastructure improvements, things like streets and sidewalks, and the access that someone from downtown that has mobility challenges can still access the restaurant on Pacific Avenue, but also make it down to the waterfront and over to the Glass Museum. So transportation access, infrastructure access, communicating with our businesses, all plays a key piece.
Excellent. Dean, what's your perspective, especially you've got the conferences, you've got the sports venues and experiences, as well as the leisure travel. And
Yeah. To echo Andrea, I mean, it's just, takes a little bit of everything and everybody being involved. So there's always, it could always be better. There's plenty of spaces. Funny story, just last September, Andrea and I and some others from the area were down in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and doing kind of a site tour of the city. And he was talking about a place that has zero infrastructure for ADA, or you can't even push a baby stroller down the sidewalk there, literally. So it's much older city. Obviously, those kinds of things weren't in mind back then, but it's a tricky place here to do it because it is, as you can see from the photo in the background, it's terrain challenged. And we are any West Coast mountain rolling hilly place that touches saltwater has got a fickle amount of geographic challenges to building width of roads and sidewalks and things like that. So there's hot spots where it's a nuisance, and there's places where we do really well at it. And again, it's just you have to keep getting better. We want to make access for everybody as equitable as possible.
I love it. Love it. Thank you. Now, before we head out, I would love if you could leave our listeners with what I would call an insight to go. And you have, in my mind, as I have been doing these interviews with the chambers and the convention visitor bureaus, DMOs, the perfect job. You get to promote this community that I have no doubt that you love. What would you like to share with our listeners about why Tacoma-Pierce County, Andrea?
Yeah, I mean, it is the most phenomenal place in the world. And Dean mentioned this a little bit. I mean, we travel a lot. We travel a lot as part of our Aspire Intercity Leadership Conference, where we go to other communities and say, what can we learn? And we bring that. Part of my background before I started in economic development was working in the opera. And so lots of international travel. And we have touched on this a little bit throughout our discussion today, is that we do have a little bit of everything. And so there are very few places in this world where you can watch an opera, go see art, kayak, climb a mountain, like all in one day. Also go shopping and have just a rock star meal with and in a community that is so kind and safe and welcoming. So I do think that's unique. And so, as Dean mentioned, our greatest strength is also our greatest challenge because we have so much to offer, and it's a little bit of everything for everyone. But our kind of nickname as a city is the city of destiny. When I really think of destiny as what you make it, whatever you want to make, you can come make it in the South Sound.
I love it. I love it. Dean, what's your insight to go?
Yeah, I've been around the world a few times myself, and I love to come home, and this is home. And I'm refreshed every time I get back at it, just how amazing this is. I was having dinner a couple nights ago, our son's birthday, and we were sitting on an outside patio, well, one of the restaurants right there in the picture behind you, and we were sitting outside, and I'm not kidding when a pot of orcas swam by. It was a perfect night. It looked like that. It was crystal clear. But the table next to us were people from out of town, and one of them was doing some contract work here for a bit, and they were just talking about how much they'd love to build a life here, and they were like, "Yeah, I could see that. This is incredible." Like, they literally spoke the narrative without being told it. They were like, "I just can't get over how much there is to do here. If I want to be in the water, or if I want to be in the mountains, or if I want to be in an amazing restaurant like we were in." And that, and so, yeah. And I think I want to leave with this as well, that we are better together through this, and Tacoma and Pierce County has an outsized amount of pride in itself in that way. We're fiercely loyal to this area and protective of it. And I love that. I love that draws us together.
I love it. And also, it's not lost on me, and I'm sure will not be lost on our listeners, is that the residents, the businesses that make up Tacoma-Pierce County in this, as I even say, the South Sound, I feel like I'm one of you guys now. You're all brand ambassadors because it's being able to help that person on the street who's looking at the map and or describing, or you should go visit this restaurant or go do that excursion. And when you have a community that steps up and are the brand ambassadors, I don't think it could get any better than that. So, Andrea, Dean, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the experience, and I certainly feel you gave our listeners a wonderful, let's just call it a nice appetizer, a couple appetizers of the best that the South Sound, Tacoma-Pierce County have to offer. So thank you for your times today.
Thanks, Howard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Listen, stay in the line. We're going to do a real quick close, and then we can have a final chat, okay? All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Very unique episode because we were fortunate to have Andrea Reay, President and CEO of the Tacoma-Pierce County Chamber of Commerce, and Dean Burke, the President and CEO for Visit Tacoma-Pierce County. What a wonderful community. And if you can only see this photo behind me, and you'll see it on the video. And I will also be, just for you guys, Andrea and Dean, I'm going to ask you for some photos besides your headshots for our banner, some representative sample of photos we can share with our listeners on our website when we publish the episode. But folks, we're going to provide those, plus in our show notes, we're going to have links to many of the sites and experiences that Andrea had mentioned. And of course, you're going to have the backlinks to the website, tacomachamber.org, as well as the visitpiercecounty.com website, and also links back to the various social sites, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. As for us, you can find this episode on our website, outdooradventureseries.com. We are also on LinkedIn and Facebook on those pages. Again, the video of this episode will be up on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can find this episode wherever you get your podcast from. Just do a search for Outdoor Adventure Series. And if you enjoyed this episode, we love likes, comments, and sharing. Until next time, wherever you are, whenever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day. And we look forward to having you join us on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now.